how tall is the bedrock? Bedrock. Let's see. In our config.json, our bedrock height is 15. Let's go ahead and move these into alphabetical order. If I create like a reader for this, it'll be so much nicer and I won't have to do this. Tigregales, hello, good morning. Am I using GGEZ? I am using GGEZ, yes. Okay, so if I have this as 15, then what I'm going to want to do is open up a sprite, which actually is in Steam. Because I forgot, a sprite launches through Steam. I mean, I could have gotten that. I could get the downloader too because I bought it through Humble, but I just activated the Steam code so I could have it on all my computers. You go over there and let it view. Have you got hot reloading for the config.json? I do not have hot reloading for that. No, what I use the config.json for is at least just no compiles, no recompiles, so it's faster to get back into it. But hot reloading would be nice. And from what I understand, that might be something we can set up with Bevy if we switch over to that. But Bevy's still a little bit too immature right now. I'm waiting for it to like settle down a little bit before we build something in it. Okay, so let's create a new. We want this to be 15 pixels. No, 1920 pixels wide and 15 pixels tall. You've been playing around with Bevy a bit and you like it. Yeah, the we played around with it just a little bit too here, and I thought it was quite nice as well. But as I said, for like a real project, I want just a little bit more stability in it, and it feels like it's still in the feature add phase, as opposed to the like truly working on a facility phase. GG lets you draw primitives easy, which Bevy doesn't yet. Right, exactly. So many little things like that. But we're working on it. Or they're working on it. Okay, so I want something like this. And can I just say for you, paint bucket. Now I have a question about this. Can I, if we relaunch this game again, can I end up reusing this over here and over here by stretching it upwards? So basically I say, okay, give me this one image, put it right here. Give me this same image, put it right here, but also stretch it down a little bit. Let's try that, and then we'll change the color a bit. So if I make this a white image, then I can add a color to it at draw time. Let's see. Oh, we want to go to A sprite. So let's try white. Oh, I could build hot reloading with that crate. Oh, interesting. That could be fun to sort of look into. Let me save this first. Actually, I'm gonna. Excuse me. Oh, okay. So I'm gonna store off that hot reloading. view and put like, you know what? I'll just put a link to it in our backlog. Check out what is it called? Notify. Create for hot reloading in GGEZ from Twitch user. Let's see. All right. We'll take a look at that sometime in the future. I'm adding it to the backlog, although we have it's growing. Okay, so I want to store this output file. We're going to put this into, where are you going? Resources there, that's fine. And we're gonna need, how big's the backlog? Not too terribly big right now, but it's going to grow. It can only get bigger, I think. The with how long it takes to work on projects, but how quick it is to come up with ideas. We're always going to have more ideas than we are going to have time to work on it. Okay, so this is going to be the, I'm going to call this the base, the bedrock. Bedrock.png. Save you there. So don't resize. All visible layers, all that stuff. Okay, export. Then in here, here's our bedrock image. So in our config.json, our image is that. Okay, so we just need to store this away in our config. Okay, so you become a string. Then we're going to take that and move it into... What am I going to do? Our images is going to have to load it up. So now we're going to head over to the images struct. When we create a brand new image, that adds this in. Okay, so bedrock goes in here. Right, we're not doing the heart sprite batch in here. So that's actually be done somewhere else. So we don't have to worry about that. Bedrock is going to be an image. Okay, bedrock image, question mark, you, and then we'll store you in here. Looking at this, there's not really any reason we can't just do these all in line here. It might be nicer. We'll see. Let's see whether or not we could do this and they will not multi-line. Okay, nice. Well, nice so far. Oh, can I do this with the question mark? I don't actually know. Okay, yeah, this works just fine then. Okay, so this allows us to create the new images. So now we have the full image here. Then when we go to draw out, that's in the map. So we're storing the bedrock as a bedrock. And if we look at bedrock, bedrock is a struct that's really just drawing itself here. We probably don't really need to have this be as complicated anymore, because we can just do a sprite batch, or in this case right now it's just drawing that one image out. But I want to try doing a sprite batch for the bedrock and the ground that's above that. So that's back to map. And really, we probably want to make this as just a normal game object. And then we want to print that out. Now, main scene. Okay, so first of all, in map, let's stop storing the bedrock here. So we don't care about you. Care about you. Don't care about you. And we're not gonna draw you like that. So if we do that, then our bedrock is gone in the bottom. So now we want to redraw that back in. And where is that going to happen? I'm thinking that in the main scene, we want to so we go to main scene, set scenes, main scene. We have all of our game objects as a hash map here. We could then throw bedrock as a game object inside of here. So we're building it here. Because everybody has this. It's not like, I guess I'm sort of taking a little bit away from the map, and I'm now going to be printing out all of these. So I think this makes sense. We can now create a bedrock here, which means I think we're going to want to have functions to create these to abstract this out just a little tiny bit. So that way we can do something like that bedrock equals match. Right, because then it can actually return. It can happen. This could work somewhere else. So match in the game object builder, new. Okay, so our location of where we're going to start the bedrock. I think this is in config. Not really. We have the bedrock height and then the bedrock image, but that's not really helpful for us. So it's going to be a point two. For our X position, we know this is going to be 0.0. It's the far left of it. And the Y position is going to be the screen height minus. And so we don't really have, config dot resolution X, resolution Y, minus config dot bedrock height. Okay. What else do we care about this? We have a life system, a draw system. We need a draw system for it. So draw system, life system. We don't need a physics system. We do need to set a width, I believe, which is going to be config dot resolution x. And then after that, I think it's really just going to be the draw system that we care about. And we don't have a draw system right now for static game objects, but we'll create one. So draw systems. Where did that go? New file in there. Okay. So static draw system. All right, let's go ahead and set ourselves up for this. So function creates, let's see. I think we can do this as a CI test. So CI test creates new static draw system. And what do we want here? Basically, there's not really much we care about here, do we? We probably want to store away the... Well, no, because it's going to know about the image that it's going to care about. Well, is that true? Because this is a static draw system, meaning I was thinking that we can share this static draw system with all of the things. But I can't necessarily pass it a... Like, because it's the... Yeah, it doesn't know what it needs for... Doesn't know what it needs for the... What am I thinking of? The image. Like, which image to do. So maybe instead of static draw system, we should rename this to, like, the background draw system. And this could handle all of those background elements. So let's rename this. Okay, so then in here, so create a new background draw system. And then this is going to be a little bit easier because we'll be able to store... It will know all the images to get out just on its own. So let's be background draw system. Draw system new. I'm not sure exactly what else we would need to store in it. It's gonna know how to extract out everything else. So let's see. Right now we're just gonna draw the image as it is. But we'll probably want to eventually set this up as a sprite batch, but that'll be for like the next thing that we do. So this could be our first good test, so you should fail. At main scene, Right, we can't update main scene yet. All right, so you fail because we need to actually create this. I'm not even convinced we need to store anything, at least right now. So we could just do that, and we'll implement background draw system. And we'll return a self. Okay, so that makes you happy. I'm not even sure what we need to store in it right now. Since you're using Serde, here's something else that will help with the hot reloading, you think? Oh, Serde diff. As opposed to reloading the entire thing. Where's my browser? Apparently I don't have a... Hold on. Small helper that can serialize the fields the difference between two values of the same type. Oh, applied previously serialized. Okay, so maybe this will help with that. To help with this too. When only one field of the config file got updated. All right. Back to here. Okay, so this creates the new draw system. We need to impl draw system for the background draw system. For our draw, we can... Well, we're about to like just add this in. So what do we need to do? We need to take the image and just draw out that bedrock image using the location of what's going to be passed into us. We all know that the location is going to be... And that's going to be interesting. We may not even care about the location in this case. Because like we have the location set up in the config already, especially if this draw system is going to be for like all the background objects. If we can sprite batch them properly. If we can't sprite batch them, then we're just gonna have to have like a bedrock draw system, a ground draw system, and all that fun stuff. All right, so with that, let's go ahead and I guess for right now we're just gonna draw. So graphics draw, context, images dot. We want you to be the bedrock, and then drop param new dot dest location dot x location dot y. Okay, and then that's what we'll return. So that makes you happy here. Then we'll head back to main scene. We'll go into add and draw system, and this will be a what is this going to be? This is going to be the background draw system new. And I think that's pretty much it for us. Oh, we do need to box this up. And then we need to build this. Then after we build this, that's when we have our okay. And this gives us our background. And we're going to turn background. If we error, we're going to, for right now, just panic and pass it in the air. Then we'll insert this in here. Okay, so game object types. I think we need to go update this. Game object types. We now have a background type. Now, this can't. Well, okay. For right now, it's just going to be background. Yeah. Object types, background, and we're naming this bedrock. Actually, you need to be named better. Background. Okay. So then, let's see whether or not we just have our it's going to be a pure white image. There's the bedrock down at the bottom. So let's go ahead and give that the color that we care about. And I believe we have that already in our config here with the bedrock color. So we can go to our background draw system, and along with our dest, we can give it a color. Color. This has to be a brand new color, but we already have that, so it's going to be config.background color. Feels a little bit strange of a color. Like, was that? It was brown before, right? Now it's green. And I guess that's additive. Like, I think it adds the color to this one. Interesting. But the big thing I want to do is I want to try to, without having to do any other work, like any other images, now get this one. So let's go ahead and remove the ground. So this is from our map. I want to, okay, so we're moving, here's the ground, so remove you, and you, and you. Okay. We want to use the same image for our draw system. Okay, so for our background draw system, now we're going to want to store away. So instead of in here anymore, we want you to be a sprite batch of the grounds, if that kind of makes sense. So this is gonna be the grounds sprite batch, because there's different types of ground, right? We have the bedrock ground, we have the ground, which is the sort of underground, and then we have the surface. Okay, so you're going to be a sprite batch, which means we also need to over here critter sprite batch and add in the 2 images to it. So let grounds, you need to be mutable. Okay, so we create a new sprite batch. We need you to be inside of the function, please. All right, we'll save you away. What are you upset about? Function takes 1 argument, right? So what's the image that we're going to pass into it? So in that case, we actually need the image to be passed in now. So if we create this for our test, unfortunately we need the image, which means we also need a context. So this can't be a CI test anymore. So that's config equals config. Then we need a context. Okay, pass in a reference to the config, unwrap you. Okay, so that gives us this. It's also you. So that makes you happy. Then we want to get our image. So that's going to be let background image equals. Well, okay, I guess we need to instantiate the images. Pass it in the context and the config. All right, then we can give access to one of the images here. We probably want to clone an image, so it's going to be our bedrock. So images.bedrock.clone. So you're going to take in the image that we care about. So this is going to be the bedrock image. You're an image. And it'll pass you in here. All right, so that makes you all happy. Main scene is obviously unhappy again because main scene needs to now pass in this this bedrock image when we create it, but that's going to be fine. Okay, so now that we have this, we need to add an image that we want to display for that. And so we already have one. But how do we know where to display it? Because it's something like grounds spritebatch dot add, right? Add new sprite stat, and this is really just the draw params. So it's actually this thing. Guess I don't need to. I can just copy it. Throw you in there. Okay, so we need the location of where. Okay, so we need. This unfortunately feels like we need. Let's see. We're going to need the config essentially to do these calculations to figure out where it is on the screen. Either that or we're going to have to pass that in here. Or we'll have to do like the builder pattern for it. Because we need like the bedrock start. So if we do bedrock location is a 0.2. Then these two are going to become bedrock, not image. Bedrock location.x, bedrock location.y. And then we want the bedrock color. And you are going to be just a color. Okay, and then when we go to draw, instead of pulling this out of images, now we're going to pull this out of self.grounds spritebatch. Okay, so we don't need to set the destination anymore, or we don't need to set the color. It's just a sort of a default draw param. We just draw that out, and that should be fine. But this does mean that down here we need to pass in a few more things. We need to pass in the bedrock location and the bedrock color. So bedrock location, we can just do a 0.2 new like 15.0, 25.0. It doesn't really matter. And then a color new 3. Actually, we could just choose something like that because it's technically a color. All right, so that gives us that. Now we can head over to the main scene. All right, so you need the image. So we're gonna pass in the images.bedrock.clone. We also need the location of where this bedrock is gonna be. That's a fun one. So 0.2. Our x is 0.0. That's easy. Our y is the entire resolution. So config.resolution y minus config.bedrock height. Okay. Then we have our bedrock color. So config dot bedrock color. And what else? Our background draw system is still upset. Use 0.2. Wait, why did you try to pull it out of there? You don't exist in there. Import. Oh, because I told it to, even though it can't actually get out of there. Okay, so let's try running it. So I see our bedrock. It's the correct color again. Interesting. It's the correct color again, and then we're not displaying this anymore, and that's gone. That's to be expected. We need to now try to use the same image here. So we're going to do another Spritebatch add, but this time for the ground. So this is a problem where we have like this bedrock location, bedrock color. I think we want to change this to now be a sort of like a builder pattern. We can probably make this a little bit simpler because we'll just create an empty Spritebatch. We do need to pass in this bedrock image still. But then after that, the location and color is going to be what's added in with each of the builder patterns. So it's probably going to be like add, well, do we even really care? No, we do, because different ones are going to be for different like sizes and shapes, and like we're going to stretch it out. So we're going to be add bedrock, add ground, that kind of thing. So in the test here, I want to update you. So create new background draw system. All you're going to do right now is pass in the cloned image. Okay, so let's make you happy. Take you like that. And you get moved down here too, and then we store you up. And you don't need to be mutable anymore. And main scene, we need to update you too. We already have all this math. It's pretty easy to do. So here's this image. You go away. In fact, let's just not do you right away. Okay, so that creates test creating a new one. And then we want to test. This is going to be setting setting the bedrock. So bedrock in the background draw system. Give her config images. So we have to create a new one. This returns the full one, but now we can do and then dot bedrock. Maybe like set bedrock. I'm not sure. But this is where we now need to pass in the location of the bedrock and the color of the bedrock. And I think that's all we care about. Essentially the draw params that we need. And it's going to be the full image, so it's just the... Okay. So bedrock. Just the location for the destination and the color. Okay, so location is a point to new 0.3 5 and white. And that should give us a new background draw system. Okay, so let's go create bedrock. You're gonna take owner. Okay, you're gonna take a mute self, and we're also going to take in a location, which is a 0.2, 32, and a color, which is a color, and we're gonna turn a self. So we're gonna do self.ground spritebatch. Dot add drop param new dest location.x location.y dot color and then we return self. All right, who's erroring? Why do I have an error? What? Where are you? Wait, hash map. Rust analyzer. What? You're yelling at me about something in Rust itself. That cool. Wonderful. Maybe just a little bit. Don't do that. All right, let's do a cargo test. Let's test this one, these two specifically. Make sure that they're working. So we could just test the background draw system. Okay, perfect. So those are working. If we come back to our main scene, we should be able to recreate this. And we'll say, okay, we have our background. We create new. Okay, so our draw system, it's a new draw system. We give it an image. That image clone into here and here. You do realize the rest gives you a test button. I know. Okay, so that test button kind of annoys me a little bit. But let me show you. When I click it, it opens up a new terminal instance. It runs the test. That's fine. And then it says, okay, terminal will be used by task. Press any key to close it. I press any key and it inserts new line in here. It didn't actually give focus down here. So I still need to come down here, hit return. It drops me into the terminal. And then I close that. And like, I guess I feel that there's not really much savings for running this. I guess like that's my annoyance, is it's not actually like like it doesn't really close the terminal, and it doesn't give me autofocus of that window. That's my annoyance. Also, good morning stacking. Okay, so where was I? What was I doing? Main scene. Okay, so we're creating a game. Okay, so a new draw system with the bedrock. And here's where we're going to give our location. So it's a 0.2 new 0.0 and config.resolution y minus config.bedrock height. And then the color is going to be config.bedrock color. And then I think that's it. Let's see. What did I do wrong? Am I not drawing out? Am I not actually drawing it out? Because like that's not airing, so that's fine. In the background draw system. Okay, so that adds it to the sprite batch for the bedrock. And we're telling the sprite batch to draw. Why didn't that draw out? I thought that should have drawn out. You know, it would help if I also inserted into the hash map. Just a smidgen. Okay, so there's our bedrock. Now, if we also want to add in, so in our bedrock draw system, we're going to test how did I lose in background draw system? I want you in both those too. Oh, right. I lost it because I clicked the run test and then I hit return and it somehow lost a bunch of stuff. Okay, so for this, we're going to create a new background draw system. Instead of bedrock, now I'm going to do ground. We're going to give it a location, a color, and how much it stretches. Yes, we want to give it the height of this. So, I guess this could be a height, and I think it has to be just an F32. What are you upset about? Because you're the same name. Setting ground. So you're going to be ground. So you don't exist yet. Also, you don't get defined like that. We just set you as something like 1.5. Okay, so ground going in. Itself. Okay, so it's exactly the same as before. Location, 0.2, F32, color, and then also now, which is going to be our the scale Y. And I think you have to be an F32. We're going to turn self dot ground sprite batch, add, drop param, new. Okay, so our destination, location of X, Y, location. Okay, and we'll give a color, the color, and then we give a scale. And so the scale takes in an array of the X and the Y. So I want to I think it's between, I think it's like 0.5. Is it like 1.0 for not scaling at all? And then whatever the scale Y is. And then return sub. Okay, so you're happy here. So now we can add in a ground. So that's in our main scene. Okay, so here's our bedrock. You close. So location. You close here. Okay. That ground. This is gonna be very similar. So point to new. Resolution Y minus. Okay, so we have to sort of like figure out where this is, and this is why we're gonna want to put this into their own functions to make this a little bit easier for us. All right, so config resolution Y minus our bedrock height. So config dot bedrock height minus config dot cave height minus config dot ground height. Our color, this is going to be config dot ground color. And then our scale. So right now we don't really know what to put this. Let's put this as like 4.0 and just see what happens. What are you upset about? Expected 2 arguments, found 1. Right. Okay. For the... Oh, that's supposed to be the Y position. Hold on. You're 0.0 for the X. There you go. Let's run this. Look at that. That looks exactly right. So what we have here is a single image, which is this bedrock. It's just a white band across the screen. But we're drawing it in 2 different places at the same exact time. And because we're creating like the setup for it all in the new function, that's all CPU bound. And then the drawing of it is all that the GPU part is going to be really, really lightweight. So that's going to help out. So now we want Surface to do the exact same thing for us. So now before I go any farther, well, no, let's do this. Let's keep on adding to the mess here. So why not? All right, so we're gonna have another test here. So test setting, this is gonna be surface. So create a config, get our context, get our images, and then create a new background. This is now gonna be a surface. We have to give it the location of where it is, the color, and its scale. So that's really going to be the exact same thing. Well, so in that case, we don't actually need a new function here, do we? Oh, we just have a different type of ground. Okay. So let's head on back to our main scene. So dot ground here. So another ground. In fact, I can just copy you. Okay, so we just want this to go one more setup. So minus config dot surface height, and that should be the correct Y location for that. This should be the surface color, and then scale. We want you to be something like 8. And so if I do that, oh, and we're gonna have to remove all of the other the other surfaces. So in our map, we're gonna remove the surface. In fact, let's just move the surface background too, because that's gonna be part of the same image. It's gonna be the surface background, which is just another normal image. So you two get removed. You two get removed. And you two. All right, let's run this, and we should have the surface. Okay, so it's not quite the right... height here. But we can see that we're really close to that. So let's try 9. And a big thing here is we now are going to want this to be scaled up for this. Oh, so that's going to be interesting, because I want it scaled, which means we're going to need to do math for how much we want to scale by to reach a certain pixel amount. Math, the strongest suit of any streamer. All right, let's think about this. If I want, we don't have to scale the bedrock at the bottom. That's 15 pixels. We already know what that is, and we have that as 15 pixels here. We know we want the. Then we have the cave, and that's set. That's just not drawing anything else, anything out at all. That's fine. Then we're gonna have. Then we're gonna have the ground, and that's gonna be. It's sort of like this ground height and ground color. Put this back up here. So if I want you to be 50 pixels and you start at 15, what is the scale to get from 15 to 50? If we go 2.0, that's 30. So let me open up the calculator. So I think if I started with 30, and if I divide by 15, it gives us 2. Okay, so I think what it is I start with 50.0, which is what I want, and divide by 15, and I get 3.33 repeating. I can dynamically create the scale then. I don't have to add anything to this config. I dynamically create the scale, dividing the ground height by the bedrock height. Where's my... There you are. That's actually going to be in the main scene here. So you start here. We're going to give you the start location exactly, but okay, our scale, this is going to have to be the config dot This is not the bedrock height. This is the ground height divided by the config dot bedrock height. And then, okay, so then in ground here, you're going to be the config dot surface height divided by config dot bedrock height. So if I do that, does that just work now for us? And we don't have that black band. Oh, perfect, excellent. Now we notice that the player is no longer on top of this. That's something we're gonna have to figure out how to make sure the player's always on top. We might need to move away from the. Oh yeah, we may need to move away from the hash map and into a vector. Destroy the game objects, because then we can control the order. Whereas we can't control the order right now. But okay, this is looking good so far. And then I want one more of these, which is going to be right here. We want this sort of like the sky. Okay, we called this. I think we could rename this to sky, because that makes more sense to me. I think we called this. I think we just call it the background color. And I think it would make it more sense to rename this to sky color. And where does my... Right above there. Okay, so we're going to rename you to sky color from background color. I'm more okay with this one being not quite in order. It's the config when I'm trying to like find things to sort of like play around with them. That's what really helps out. Okay, so we have sky color now. Oh, we're gonna need the sky height too. Oh, but we have that, don't we? Because it's really the combination of all the other things minus the resolution Y. Okay, so one more in here. Ironically, this is still another ground. I don't know if we should rename it then. Okay, so for the Y, we're actually going to start at 0.0 here. But for a scale Y, this part needs to be a combination of all of these, all of the ones below. Well, I guess like the ones below minus resolution. Okay, so it's going to be resolution config dot resolution Y minus. Then we're going to have everything that sort of leads up to it. So config dot bedrock height, the cave height, the ground height, the ground height. Then it will be the surface height, and I think that's it. Then we'll divide that by the bedrock height, and that should give us, we want that to be, and then you're going to be the sky color. Okay. Let's see. Oh, surface background. Right. Okay, so in surface background, because in the map, we're pulling you in, but we don't need to anymore. Where are you being? Okay, go to references. Okay, source background. Are you being referenced in like the main library? No. Well, maybe. Game objects is probably referencing you. There, service background. Make you go away. There you go. And there's our sky. So this gives us the full background. Now, of course, we still have the trees, and we still have the player behind the scenes, but this helps a tremendous amount because this is just one image reused 4 times, which is going to give us great savings. So now that we have this, I want to do a little bit of refactoring, sort of like to make that main scene look a little bit nicer. I think we can also, I don't really know how I want to put in the, I want to throw in like rename like the ground, because the sky is also being used there, and that's a little bit misleading. Let's start with in the main scene here. I want to throw these into different functions. So we could have like a create player function, and then we tried and we couldn't figure out a good way to have this return a game result. But maybe we can have this return not a game result, but rather, okay, so before I get ahead of myself, let's commit this. So drawing backgrounds, everything but the trees and the foliage, really. So like these are background rectangles essentially. Sort of like background everything other than okay, so the background, everything other than the what is it called? The foliage and trees. I don't know if I spelled that correctly. All right, so let's create a function for creating the player. And we can add that in as a test here. So to create the player, we need the location of where the player is. Okay, so basically we need to pass in the config. And that's it. We pass in the config. And it's going to handle everything else itself. Okay, so test function, test, create player in main scene. Okay, so we need our config. I don't think we need... I don't think we need the context. Because we don't need the map. We don't need images. Oh, wait, we do, because we need to create the main scene to create the player off of the main scene. Okay. Oh, interesting. I already had images here. Why do I... Why do I need to shadow you? Okay. So we need both of you. Once I have this, I don't need to test drawing this. All I need to do is test creating a player. So that player equals main scene dot player, and we know we're gonna want to pass in the config, a reference to the config. And what do you need to be? You need to be a game object. So you're going to be a game object, and then we'll box that when we throw that into the when we throw this into the hash map, which will probably have to become a vector, and then you'll have to be an unwrap. All right, go ahead and create this player. So this is going to be a private function create player. We're not going to take in self because this has to be run during the news, so we haven't constructed anything yet. But we do know that we need a config. There's a reference to a config, and then we're going to return a game result. So if we come up here to the player, we'll take you out. Oh, okay. It's not actually going to turn a game result. It's not going to turn a game object. It's going to return a game object builder result. Come on. Oh my gosh, come on. I want you to come down here. Throw you in here. So you're not going to be a game result. You're going to be a result that has a game object. Or for the error, it's going to be a game object builder error. Yeah, that. Which kind of makes me wonder if, can we just switch over to using error? Do I even have error in here? We do have error, so we can just use error result, and this is gonna be a game object. Okay, so then we can handle returning this. Chantilly subscribed to Prime. You've subscribed for 13 months and on a 2-month streak. Thank you so much, Chantilly. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Awesome to have you here. Thank you for being such a long subscriber to the channel too. Okay, so I don't need to return you anymore. Now we're just going to return this. We don't need to match. We're just going to do a game object builder new. We give it a location. So this is going to be customized for the player. Width is this, draw system. Okay, so you're happy here. No, you're not. Expected results. So build, what do you return? You just return this. Oh, you don't return the right thing then. Okay. Let's see. We can just update this result to be what we return here. For right now, until I figure out a better way to handle this. Okay, so then you're happy there. So then what I can do is this is gonna be a self with a capital at that colon create player, hand it a reference to the config, and then we'll unwrap it. And actually we can expect this. So at least we give it an error, which the error is going to be error building player. So at least we have that. So that, I mean, it abstracts it a little bit. It should, everything should still work as expected. Okay, it does. Oh look, and there's our player. Cool. It's a random order. We can't predict where it's going to show up in the draw cycle because it's a hash map. All right, so we want to do the same thing for hearts now, and then the same thing for the background. So we're gonna add you in. So we really want create. Maybe we could just even do like create the game objects. Objects in the main scene. So what are you next? Oh, you don't work. No method. Right, because you're not main scene. You would be main scene, colon, create player. That's what, okay, that's how you work. And so we're gonna copy you, and instead of create player, this is gonna now be create hearts. And that should be the exact same thing. So we're going to take you. All you care about is the config. You do need the images. Okay, so you need images and config. And that's it. So config, and then also a reference to images. And you don't need to be mutable, but we're gonna just clone directly off of it. Okay. So function, create hearts. We'll have our config, and we'll have images. You don't need to be mutable. You're going to return a result, game object build error. I'm going to come back up here and grab you. All right, so no match anymore. Gonna view, save view, you should be fine. Then back up here, equals self, create hearts, pass in the config, pass it in the images. Oh, you might need, maybe it'll be fine. And then we'll expect you. Hearts. No errors anymore. So apparently it decided it didn't need that hash map error at all. That's cool. Let's go ahead and run this test again. Make sure it's still working. Excellent. Then the final one is this entire background. So if we take a look at it, all we need is a config and images, and that's also it. Config and images. So it's really the same as this. So you're going to be hearts. You're going to be, okay, so player hearts and background. Create background, config and images. Okay. You should fail. Yep, exactly. All right, so we have our config. We have our images. We'll return a result. I'm gonna go find this entire mess. Okay, so you all the way down to here. Throw you in there. Move you. Move the match. Okay, you're happy here. And then you become self. Create background. Pass it in the config. Pass it in the images. Expect air building. Background. Then when we insert this, is this? Because these are just plain old game objects. I'm actually kind of, actually no, that'll be fine. I was thinking like I need to box it up or anything. No, I don't need to, because we're just getting game objects here. All the boxing is happening inside of these functions. So we should be able to rerun this and everything should be happy. And there we go. Okay, so everything is still drawing. We have the background, the players behind the scenes because, reasons. And that makes, it cleans up the new function part of this a little bit. And so it's a little bit easier to sort of see what's happening. And if we want to come down here and individually manipulate any of the builds for them, we can. Which also means that when we switch away from game hash map to a vector, this is going to be easier too. Although if we do that, we're probably going to have to go back into like a typing system so we can extract them out. Right, because like we're going to need the tree separately and everything else. But for right now, it looks like we have all of that sort of set up. So I'm going to close all these windows down. I'm going to switch back to here, and we factored the main scene new function. Now creating game objects using their own functions. All right. Push you on up. All that code I've got available at Bang repo. So you can sort of go and follow along if you want to. I've got all of this is in currently the branch 25 sprite branch, the hearts. I think like I don't know if we needed to do it in that specific branch. We probably wanted to do it like in little branches for each of the other things, but I think we should be fine here too. All the tests seem to be passing, and so I'm happy with it. We're continuing to make things a little bit faster for all of this stuff. So with that, I'm gonna go ahead and switch over to our ending screen. Thank you everybody for stopping by. I am going to be back here tomorrow morning at 7 a.m. Mountain Time. I think that's GMT -7. It might be -6. I need to look that up and just memorize it now that our time has changed. And we'll be working on either the trees or the foliage next time. And I think we're also gonna have to turn this into a vector as well, so that way we can actually see what we're doing. So maybe that will take longer than we expect as well. Anyways, either way, I'll see you back here tomorrow morning, 7 a.m. Mountain Time for that. Have a great day and see you next time. Bye.